welcome back to Ride JBI. This is JB. Today is our first of our continued testing and improvement of our JBI Spec WP to KYB SSS fork dropping kit. For the past 5 to 6 months, we've been testing a lot of the WP XACT 6500 cartridge kits and the WP cone valve forks. We feel we have very positive and good settings with those, so now it is time to revisit our KYB settings to pick up where we left off and see how we can improve those. So on our Ride JBI 2023 KTM 450 SXF R&D test bike, we have our JBI KYB Spec forks mounted to the bike and ready for our first test ride at Glen Helen Raceway. And we will keep you guys up to date and tuned in as we do our testing, get feedback from different riders, make some changes, and do back-to-back testing of the KYB setups versus our WP XACT 6500 setups and our WP cone valve setups. This is going to be a lot of fun. A common question we get is which fork is better, and now we're heading out to answer that for you guys now.
We are back at the shop after riding at Glen Helen Raceway. We finished the day riding on the JBI Spec WP to KYB SSS conversion fork kit. We rode both tracks, the Glen Helen main track and also the Glen Helen RAM track. Reason being is the dirt is quite different between the two and how it breaks down. The main track tends to have really big rolling bumps and obviously lots of ups and down hills, whereas the RAM track tends to be a lot more harder packed dirt and has many of those washboard ripple bumps. Those small consecutive bumps I often find going into corners and coming out of corners. So it gives you a really good test of how the forks feel on an initial breakaway when the wheel first strikes an object and then has to repeatedly strike it. At first impression, man, the forks work really well. It's been a while since I've had a chance to revisit and ride these KYB settings that we have on the KTMs. So it's fun to just kind of revisit old settings that we've developed and pick up where we left off. From that ride day, I ended up adjusting the compression clicker from 14 clicks out all the way out to 20 clicks. I want to see how soft we could go before the forks were too soft, and it actually seems like we could actually go even softer if the clickers allowed it. So I have some ideas on some adjustments I want to make internally, but we're actually going to ride some more on the forks at a few different tracks and areas before we go ahead and do any of that. For comparison, I started the day off with our JBI Spec WP XACT 6500 cartridge kit forks. If you followed us on YouTube, you see we've been doing a lot of testing, tuning, and riding on these lately, and we feel that we have a very competitive setup for these. So as it sits right now, man, I would say these are pretty evenly matched in how they perform. They each have their own unique feel. You could definitely tell the difference if you ride them back to back, but definitely not in a bad way. And what's that allowing us to do is really get a better understanding of each fork, how they work, and how we can improve each fork. So I'm going to keep riding on these, get some more time, make some adjustments, and then when I feel it's ready, we're going to start doing some more back-to-back testing with different riders, so that way they can share their experience and feedback with you, the viewers, on what they feel the KYB feels like and what they feel the WP forks feel like. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.